morning, Lionhearts. It's your old pal, Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? I hope you said well. Today we're starting from somewhere in Texas and we're hoping to end somewhere in Texas. It's a big state. Actually, where we're hoping to end is Houston today, but that means it's gonna take us through San Antonio. And there are a lot of stops I wanna make along the way. At least, I think 5 or 6 stops today. So, Daze with Jordan the Lion, you all, Ja, Scott Michaels from Dearly Departed Online, it all begins now. And speaking of co-pilots, there's one of them. So let's hit the road. So Scott, the good news today is that we have a lot to see. The bad news is we're 300 and so miles away from the first thing we want to see.
And we got a long road ahead of us.
We sure do.
Not a lot of turns in this road either. We can just take a nap and keep going.
Yeah, too bad I don't have a Tesla. Have encountered a little bit of rain on our journey, but nothing else. There is nothing else to see. Look at that. They just blasted right through the center of there to make the freeway. Holy cow, look at that. All right, we just exited the freeway after that long 3-hour-plus drive, and we are about 10 minutes from our first roadside attraction. And as cool and as amazing as this is not the original location. It was moved here, and I'll tell you why. And this amazing roadside attraction is in the town of Ingram. Right here, you're looking at an Easter Island figure that has a mask on, and that was added after what I'm going to show you now. Welcome to Stonehenge 2. Now, how this started was, it was one slab of extra limestone that a man named Al Shepard's neighbor, Doug Hill, had left over from a patio job. Asked Al if he wanted it, and Al decided to have it propped up, and then decided, hey, maybe I should do something a little bit more. So he offered Doug to, he said, I'll bankroll for you to make me a Stonehenge. So there's one, as far as I know, one real slab of limestone here, and then the rest was metal structures covered with plaster. And so if you go up and knock on them, they're hollow. And look at that, isn't that amazing? They're 90% accurate by width and 60% by height. So I believe they say it's 20 feet tall. And once they finished up the construction and had it out there on the land, that's when Al said, you know, maybe we should add some Easter Island statues. So that's where those came in. Now, I mentioned it wasn't originally here. Ja's enjoying it. It was originally out on Al's land, and when the land was sold, the new owners didn't want this and were gonna tear it down. So the city stepped in and said, we want it. And they decided to move it 8 miles to where it is now and give it a permanent home, Stonehenge 2. Pretty cool for me to see, because I've actually been to the real Stonehenge, and you can't get this close to the real Stonehenge. They have barriers and everything. You're not allowed to even go up and touch it or anything. So, and Chevy Chase cannot back his car into it and knock them down like in European Vacation. But here we can go up and touch them, so let's do it. Ja, do you want to go touch Stonehenge? And we can walk through it, which is awesome. And it's nice to see. I can't believe I'm seeing it, but it's nice to see no graffiti, no spray painting, nothing on it yet. See, there's the plaster. But one of these is the real deal. How cool is that? You almost feel like you should be listening to Spinal Tap walking through here, don't you? Pretty cool. Yeah, when I saw that we were going to be passing by Stonehenge 2, I said, well, we've been to Stonehenge 1, why not Stonehenge 2? Ja's never been to Stonehenge 1. Don't relieve your bladder in here, okay? That's a faux pas. And unlike the real Stonehenge, we do have an answer for who built this one. They're still figuring out. Did aliens? How did it happen? These stones were too heavy to lift. How did it happen? And they do have a little information center right over here that you can find out the story on it if you want. And the original Stonehenge. I'm so glad that they added this. I love that. You'll see here it's basically outlining the same story that I told you. There's Al and Doug. Here you can see that Al passed away in '94. We're on the road again, and our next stop is to satisfy some of Scott Michael's crazy curiosities. I read about this place and I said, we gotta stop. Now we've turned off into a town called Comfort, Texas. We're going to the Armadillo Farm. So here's Comfort Bank, and we're actually going over here. Armadillo Farm, the old general store. It's supposed to be open, but I'm not sure if it is. Fancy groceries. It's got a nice vibe, doesn't it? Sadly, it's not open, but we can kind of peer through the glass and see they have an armadillo museum inside with armadillos and an armadillo lamp you can see right here. Kind of interesting. I was hoping to get in there and look around, but we caught them on a day where they were closed. Well, bummer. Guess we'll just head off to our next stop. Kind of noticed some interesting looking things down this street, so we might show you a little bit of this. Very interesting old town. You having fun on this ride? Take a look at town. Hey, there's the Beatles with masks on.
Old gas station. Repurposed, looks like.
Yeah, turned into a restaurant.
Neat.
Here's the antique store. Look at this up here on the corner. This is great.
Yeah.
Pizza joint looks like an old gas station. I love it. That's their restaurant vehicle right out front, and the spare tire thing says got wood, and it's got wood-fired pizza. Now 40 minutes away is our next stop. Little tribute to a monkey. So we've made it to Leon Valley, a little suburb in San Antonio. I wanted to show you a little oddity that I love, and it's here in Castle Estates. So I'm actually going to show you a street name here that you might recognize. Now, when I was a kid, one of my favorite first musical influences was the Monkees. Nickelodeon used to show reruns of the old TV show, and because of that, we became fans, me and my sister, and our babysitter's daughter made a mixtape of her favorite Monkee songs, and we became instant fans. Now, what's funny about it is, when I was a kid, my least favorite Monkee was Mike Nesmith. As an adult, he's my favorite, because when I was probably 16 or 17, a friend in my hometown turned me on to his home video of music videos called Elephant Parts, and it was like all music videos set to his songs. He released his album as a video album, and it was kind of like in the early days of all that. It's really, really funny, and there's a street here named after Mike. Let me tell you why. So the reason this street is named after Mike Nesmith is because his Uncle Chick Adair was a developer of housing communities, and when Mike was discharged from the Air Force, he went to San Antonio College and lived with his Uncle Chick. And when he went off to California, became one of the monkeys, his uncle started up this development and decided, heck, I'm gonna name one of the streets after my nephew. So that's how my favorite monkey got a street named after himself. Kind of a cool little thing if you live on Mike Nesmith Street. And that's kind of a funny tie-in if you saw my last vlog, because we were out in Marfa, Texas checking out Little Riata where they filmed Giant, and out there they have a whole display dedicated to Giant, and the music that is playing is Mike Nesmith's music. Next stop is probably the most famous San Antonio landmark there is, for a lot of reasons. Muffler Man Indian Chief, score! The Alamo. We have made it to downtown San Antonio. We're right across from the United States Post Office and Courthouse here in San Antonio, and our main objective is to see the Alamo. This is showing the Mission San Antonio de Valero in 1744. Show what the area would have looked like. So the story of the Alamo was that there was a 13-day siege here as part of the Texas Revolution, and this was where the Mexican army came and battled and took, for the most part, took back this by killing off all of the battalions of the Tejanos and the Texians. So they remember it here for the lives lost and the history changed. Battle of the Alamo, led by Bonham and Bowie. It's my first time here. And this is the other side of the statue that we didn't see. It's pretty much the same thing on both sides, except this side has Davy Crockett right here and Travis right here. You can see the coonskin cap. Right here beneath it says, in memory of the heroes who sacrificed their lives at the Alamo, March 6th, 1836, in the defense of Texas. They chose never to surrender nor retreat. These brave hearts with flag still proudly waving perished in the flames of immortality, that their high sacrifice might lead to the founding of this Texas. And we won't be able to take the tour because I have Ja, but very popular in pop culture for the fact that Ozzy got banned here for peeing on this place. There are a couple of little cannons down here, and it's also known in pop culture history for Pee-wee's Big Adventure, when Pee-wee is told by a psychic that his bicycle is hidden here in the basement of the Alamo, but it's actually not, because they filmed it at the San Fernando Mission in Los Angeles. There's no basement in the Alamo. That's what they tell him. He travels all the way here, not really here, but supposed to be here, and they tell him at the end of the tour, he says, when do we see the basement? There's no basement in the Alamo. John, what do you think of the Alamo? It's your first time here, huh? Oh, you like the Alamo? Thank you. Such a good boy.
Oh, they're being friends. They're best friends.
That's what best friends do.
This is the way it really should have been at the Alamo.
Yeah. More peaceful.
Little trip to the Alamo, huh? That's how big the tours are here for the Alamo tours. We'll come back here and do a full tour sometime. And these two signs, the one on the right is acknowledging this is the birthplace of Freemasonry in West Texas. Then on the left, it's acknowledging Davy Crockett, James Bonham, James Bowie, the men who spot. We'll definitely have to come back because I'm noticing right across the street they've got a Guinness World Records Museum, a Ripley's Haunted Adventure, Tomb Raider 3D. That all sounds fun. But can't do it when we got this little guy, can ya? They stopped us even trying to take a picture closer to the Alamo because of him. All right, on to our next stop, Ja. It's here in San Antonio. I wasn't aware I could bring my horse and buggy downtown. Next time. We definitely found a piece of roadside Americana here, from the old drive-in diner sign to the hog stand. I kid you not, that's what it's called. It's even got a door to it right in the guts, right in the belly. An old hog stand, how cool is that? I love it. It's even got its own window. Then the building on the side has a great mural, some of the San Antonio Spurs. There you can see Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, and Manu Ginobili. And here's the old diner drive-in burger joint called Burger Culture. And they've even though it's closed, they even have the old drive-up trays right there. Look who's in the window staring at us. Just an absolutely brilliant painting of Bob Dylan. That's Blonde on Blonde. Wow, what a day. We have seen quite a lot today. And you, my friend, you be good, don't make a pig of yourself.
When you need gas, you go to Bucky's, Bucky the Beaver.
There it is. Yep, definitely gotta fill up. And here, it's only $2.44. Does that sign really say hog hunting for $149? Yep, we're in Texas, all right. I just saw the sign for Bastrop. I'm not doing it today, it's too late in the day, but that's where you turn off. You're going to the gas station from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh yeah, Sawyer Family Barbecue.